The woman's shrill accusations attracted a lot of people's stares. Nevertheless, Madeline tried to remain polite. "Madam, you're the one who bumped into me just now. Plus, I'm not the Whitman's maid." The woman was stunned. Then, she looked at Madeline's outfit. A smile of disdain appeared on her elegant face. "You don't look like a maid at all. You look more like a beggar from the streets." Subsequently, sniggers were heard from one side. Nevertheless, Madeline did not want to argue with her anymore. However, just as she was about to leave, she saw Meredith walking over. She was dressed to the nines and had nice makeup on her face. When she saw Madeline, she displayed a shocked expression. "Oh, it's you, Maddie." When the woman heard what Meredith had said, she looked at Madeline in contempt. "Mrs. Whitman, you know this stupid beggar?" Madeline was stunned. This woman thought Meredith was Jeremy's wife. However, it was obvious that Meredith was not going to correct her. On the contrary, she gave the woman a smile. "Mrs. Langford, please just let this go for my sake. Since Mrs. Whitman has said the word, I'll just let it go." The woman looked at Madeline in agitation. "Watch where you're going next time." Madeline was about to tell her who she was, but Meredith stopped her and grabbed her arm with a concerned expression on her face. "Maddie, are you okay? Are you hurt?" Madeline looked at her pretentious face and felt disgusted. Nonetheless, as she was about to walk away, someone grabbed her arm. "Don't go yet." It was that woman from just now, and she was furious. "No wonder you ran into me on purpose. You wanted to steal my bracelet. How weird." Madeline felt that it was preposterous. On the other hand, Meredith quickly ran over to explain on her behalf. "Mrs. Langford, this has to be a mistake. Maddie once had the habit of pocketing things that did not belong to her, but she has changed now." It did not sound like an explanation at all. Instead, it sounded like proof that Madeline was indeed a thief. The accusations became louder and louder around them. Madeline was worried that it would ruin the Whitmans' reputation, so she explained, "I've never stolen anything. If it wasn't you, then who was it?" The woman was sure that it was Madeline. "My bracelet must be on you right now. Do you dare let me search you?" Madeline knew that she was innocent, so it was fine if she wanted to search her. However, at this moment, Meredith quickly walked over and touched Madeline's pocket. "Mrs. Langford, I think this is just a misunderstanding. Maddie has changed. She wouldn't steal again." Before she finished saying that, her expression changed. Then, she looked at Madeline in disappointment before taking out an expensive bracelet from Madeline's front pocket. "Maddie, I didn't think you'd do this." Madeline was shocked. She had not taken anything from anyone, but they had found that bracelet in her pocket. "You're indeed the one who stole my bracelet, you beggar." The woman took out her phone to call the cops. Madeline started to feel anxious. Today was Jeremy's mother's 50th birthday party. If her daughter-in-law was sent to the police based on accusations that she was a thief, it would affect the reputation of the Whitmans greatly. It was fine that she be falsely accused, but the Whitmans' reputation was more important. More and more guests gathered around them. At this moment, Meredith looked extremely disappointed. "Maddie, I know that ever since you were a kid, you never saw anything good. That's why you have the habit of pocketing things. However, how could you do it at a time like this? I didn't." Madeline explained again, but no one believed her. She suddenly remembered that Meredith had deliberately tried to get close to her just now and immediately came to a realization. Meredith was the one that had planted the bracelet on her. At the same time, the woman had already called the cops. After a while, the cops arrived. They were going to take Madeline to make a statement at the station. Madeline was about to be taken away. At this moment, a poised woman walked over to Mrs. Langford and mumbled something in her ear. Immediately, Mrs. Langford's expression changed. She looked at Madeline in disbelief and then said that it was all a misunderstanding. Madeline did not know what was going on. When she looked at the woman's face, she noticed that she was glaring at her in disgust. Her eyes made Madeline extremely uncomfortable. At this moment, Meredith walked over. "Maddie, that's Jeremy's mother. It's fine now. You don't have to go to the station anymore, but you have to promise me not to do something as embarrassing as this again," Meredith said in a concerned tone. Madeline tried to explain, but Jeremy's mother walked away after looking at her in dissatisfaction. Meredith smirked. She followed after her and stayed by Jeremy's mother's side. It was as if they were a loving mother and daughter-in-law duo. Some sniggers sounded in her ears, and there were also some light chuckles. Mrs. Whitman was someone that unsophisticated to even be involved with theft. It was a colossal joke. Madeline felt aggrieved and helpless when faced with the suspicious gazes around her. Thus, she turned around and went into the house. Finally, she spotted Jeremy. However, when Jeremy saw Madeline covered in dust, sloppily dressed, he wore a look of agitation on his face. "Today is my mother's birthday. Not only are you late, but you're also wearing this. Plus, you even dared to steal from someone. Are you bored with life?" he accused in a frigid tone. Madeline smiled bitterly. She had gone to the hospital because of his rough treatment the night before. Not to mention, she had almost lost their child. Before she could register the fact about the tumor when she was in the hospital, she had to rush here. To top it off, the moment she stepped foot past the door, she was met with an incident. She did not even have time to dress up. Madeline looked at the man's solemn face. "Jeremy, I didn't steal anything. It's Meredith. You're light-fingered, and you still want to blame Meredith for finding the bracelet in your pocket. Madeline, aren't you ashamed of yourself? Madeline, aren't you ashamed of yourself?" Madeline felt a suffocating pain in her heart. She watched Jeremy leave and headed upstairs aggrievedly. It was Jeremy's room in the old manor, and it was her first time entering it. There were a few expensive dresses in the closet that were all from international big brands. When Madeline was about to change, Meredith walked in. She looked at Madeline's wretched look and laughed. "Madeline, you don't even look like a queen with a crown on." Madeline chuckled lightly. "However, to be honest, I am indeed the queen while you're just a shameless mistress." Meredith was furious. "Don't feel so pleased with yourself, Madeline. Jeremy will divorce you sooner than you think. Also, Jeremy will make you and the child in your stomach vanish. You should know best about who's the one with his child." Madeline looked at Meredith with hatred. "You're the one who planted the bracelet on me, right? HMPH, so what if it was me? Who's going to believe you?" Meredith did not bother to put up an act anymore. She laughed as she felt pleased with herself. Sooner or later, I'll be Mrs. Whitman. After Meredith left, Madeline quickly took a shower and put on a Chanel two-piece suit. Additionally, she put on some light makeup. Her eyes were bright when she looked into the mirror. She looked elegant and refined. Nevertheless, no matter how good-looking she was, Jeremy would not even spare her a glance. When she thought about her condition, she touched her flat stomach and smiled. Maybe it was just like Ava had said, her fondness of Jeremy would not last because her life would end soon. The door of the room swung open at this moment, and Jeremy urged her impatiently. Madeline hid her worries and turned around to smile at Jeremy warmly. There was a glint of shock in the man's eyes. He walked next to Madeline and reached out his hand to grab her waist intimately. His sudden intimate gesture caused Madeline's heart to beat faster. Her face also began to heat up gradually. She lifted her head to look at Jeremy. His side profile was good-looking, but his face was neutral. "Grandpa's here." He said those 3 words coldly and Madeline understood immediately. He merely wanted to put on the act of a loving couple in front of old Master Whitman. Madeline's heart became cold, and she felt that this was very ironic. There were no outsiders at the dining table. If there was one, it was Meredith. Old Master Whitman's eyes were kind. However, for some reason, Madeline felt that he looked familiar. It was as if she had seen him from years ago. What surprised Madeline was how Jeremy ignored Meredith's feelings and took care of her just to make the old master happy. Not only did he take food for her, but he even peeled prawns for her. This was the first time Madeline saw Jeremy's gentle smile on a very rare occasion. Madeline lifted her head to look at Meredith. She forced herself to smile, but it was obvious she was not happy. It felt just like a dream. However, she knew that the dream would be over soon. After dinner, Jeremy held Madeline's hand to walk to the garage. His warmth reached the bottom of her heart, and her face heated up. She wanted very badly to stay in this moment forever. Nevertheless, reality was cruel. When they got to the side of the car, Jeremy swung away Madeline's hand in disgust. "Get lost." His sudden horrible attitude caused Madeline to be in a state of shock. She watched as Jeremy opened the door considerately for Meredith, who came after them. Subsequently, he watched as she got into the car before revving the vehicle and disappearing in front of Madeline. Consequently, Madeline was abandoned on the empty street. The autumn wind blew on her face, and coldness took over her heart. Moreover, the wind blew away the fake act of warmth and affection. Ellipsis. That night, Jeremy did not come home as usual. While thinking about how the man she loved was holding another woman, doing something intimate, Madeline searched for all kinds of information online about her illness. Her heart was in excruciating pain. The position of her tumor was bad. There would be huge risks in the surgery. Even if they aborted the child to save her, something bad might happen to her as well. If that was the case, she was willing to risk it and give birth to the only child that she and Jeremy had. The next day, Madeline woke up early and went for another body check in the hospital. After she got the results, she submitted to her fate. Looking at the results, Madeline started to tear up. "Oh Jeremy, I thought I'd at least be able to pester you for a lifetime despite you hating me and resenting me. However, I never expected my life to be so short." She was walking on the street in a dazed state when she received a text from a stranger. When she opened it, she saw a video. It was the video of her being accused of stealing the bracelet. Coincidentally, it had captured the exact moment when Meredith secretly put the bracelet in her pocket. Madeline did not know who was the one who sent the video, but she thanked them immediately. She did not overthink things and called a car to go to Jeremy's office. Even if she did not have much time to live, she did not want to allow that vile and cruel woman to continue fooling Jeremy. She arrived at the building of Whitman Corporation. When she told the receptionist who she was, the person looked at her with wonder in their eyes. When Madeline walked to the lift, she could hear a lot of discussions going on about her behind her back. She opened Twitter and saw that the incident the night prior was trending. The comments were all scolding her and calling her light-fingered. In addition to that, they also said that an ugly duckling like her would always be an ugly duckling. Even after marrying an excellent man like Jeremy, she would still be cheap. Madeline grabbed her phone and ran to Jeremy's office. He had just finished a meeting when he spotted Madeline running over. His eyes were cold. "Why are you here? Don't you know how popular you are now?" He was talking about what had happened the night before. Madeline opened the video that had anonymously been sent to her and handed it over to him. "Look closely. Look at who's the real thief."